enough about that.
All right, guys. I usually do news videos by myself.
Because he doesn't contact me.
I usually do, and he's like, "Oh, I'm dating a girl right now. You're irrelevant to me." Right? Okay, so there's a fair bit of League of Legends news we probably should go over, because if you don't do it, then I will. And he's like, "No, you want to make sure I'm alone and I'm with you." And
okay, what's going on?
all right, go ahead. Can I explain?
You didn't say anything.
God, you're just rushing me like my wife does. All right, so the first one is Kuzan joins Genji as their new mid laner.
That one is not... I don't see a reason as to why this is happening, to be honest. I don't think... Like, again, their mid lane wasn't good, but Kuzan's not good at all.
Kuzan was on Jin-Air, right? At one point?
Yeah, yes, at one point, but he was on the Challenger team that just tried to come into the league right now.
It wasn't APK Prince because they had Mickey. It was the Team Battle Comics, right?
I don't remember which team it was, to be honest.
It was one of the team. It was the team that faced KT Rolster, I remember. But Kuzan... I don't feel like Kuzan is terrible, per se, but Fly... Here's my issue with Fly. Fly is good at a specific amount of champions.
He's not good at any of them, really, but I think he's decent enough to where you don't think he's the biggest weakness on the team.
I think he's like a Korean version of Pole Belter. Like, he's barely...
Pole Belter has been great this year. You can't compare that.
Like, Fly has always been like... if Pole Belter wasn't this year, like... Fly has always been like the Pole Belter of Korea. Like, he's good enough, but he's not like anything top tier. He's not a carry threat. He's like just average, pretty much. Like, he's good at very specific champions, like maybe Aurelion Sol and maybe Azir. But outside of that, it's like, I don't really know what his strengths are. And you're looking at Genji, and Genji want to go back to Worlds again. And Genji got 7th place, so they have no points going into Worlds. And to get anywhere close, they have to finish in the playoffs, and they have to finish at least,
No, if they make it in the playoffs, the drastic amount of changes in points you get from spring to summer, they'll probably make it into the little gauntlet.
Yeah, but they have to get to the gauntlet point, and they have to get to playoffs first. So they're making changes. You said they should... My thing with Genji is that I follow them on, like, Instagram and stuff like that. They're very, very, like, flat family-oriented, and they're, like, really focused on players like Cuvée and players like
they would have kept Crown if he didn't leave.
Yeah, that's the thing is that do you feel like they're too attached to these players?
I think that it's a good. I respect it, honestly. It makes me think that they're a great organization, but at the same time, it's not how you run a business. I think that I like them. Like there's a lot of nice people in this, and
Cuvé's mowing their lawn outside.
Let's just be real though. Like, how many times will you get the experience of somebody keeping somebody around because they just like him that much? Like, that's something, like, no work environment is ever going to be like that. But at the same time, it's not, there's a reason it's never like that, and that's because it's not profitable. It's not, you won't get the results you want if you keep playing like that.
I feel like this is I kind of feel like this can be an upgrade for them. Because I feel like Kuzan's always been on bad teams where it never really showed
the reason they were bad. But it's because, every time you look at the teams that he was bad on, it's like, well, they have moderately decent players, but their mid lane's just not good enough. That's always, every single time you look at Kuzan. He's just not good.
Maybe this is going to be a detriment to them.
I don't know. Maybe Kuzan's better than I'm giving him. He didn't look great in the series.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. Maybe they see something in him that I can't see.
G2, Promise Q's contract is over today for G2.
That doesn't make any impact on the league at all.
I mean,
like the only reason he was there was because Mickey was injured. He's not good enough to play.
Do you feel like that maybe he could find a spot on a lower tier roster?
No, he wasn't good. Just think about most of the games they lost were with him on the roster.
Oh yeah, their only 0-2 week came from him,
and he lost both. Yeah, they lost both of the games with him.
I
don't like to be results based, but he was a big detriment to the team there.
Yeah, like he was it's like going from Mickey to Promise Q. It's like going from a girl who cooks you food and washes your clothes to a girl that literally is just.
Why are all of your analogies involving girls?
Well, because like we don't. Oh my goodness.
Because we don't talk to them. Then we don't talk about no.
I understand women.
Okay.
And then you have what's the thing? So Prey, who announced he was going to retire, comes out of retirement.
Oh, yeah, he's going to KT also.
This is what people said he should have did right after he left King Zone.
I think that, I think his mental state was not in the greatest spot. He had a pretty terrible, that was probably his worst year in existence last year. And I think that probably did have an impact on his health, on top of the fact Gorilla going to a different region. Like, it seemed like he was trying to get away.
Like, well, it feels like that he had an emotional connection to Gorilla because they were always such huge friends, and like when you play with someone for that long, like your friend leaves you. I think pro players have talked about that. They were like, what's the thing? They just feel like it's sad. You have your friends leaving you. Like if you left me one day, I'd be all depressed and sad, but then I'd go find another white guy friend.
I feel like again.
If I left you one day, would you be sad?
No, but I think that's something like again people in solo queue experience. You have that duo partner and you play with in bot lane for a long time, and then they randomly call you the N-word and you can't play with them anymore. Happened to me a bunch of times. Don't know why.
That's because you said you were being too aggressive in lane and they couldn't follow up on your kills.
Well, it's because I'm overly aggressive sometimes, but yes.
Okay, so is this considerably an upgrade for them?
I mean, I think their weakness wasn't bot lane, but they got to try something. I mean, maybe it gives a veteran voice in the bot lane that might be able to lead them in a good direction. Because again,
I feel like Snowflower played fine.
Snowflower has a high ceiling, and I think that Prey's bad year it doesn't represent the rest of his career. So I think it's a decent pickup for the most part. What I'd like to see though is, I'd like to see the centralized shot calling come around Prey probably because he wasn't the shot caller with Gorilla, but I think that he can probably take that role. At the very least, away from Smeb because he's horrible. Smeb is really one of the worst shot callers in existence.
I never thought those words could actually come out of my mouth, but he was generally one of the worst top laners during the spring split.
Again, you can't centralize your play around a player that's always losing lane, that's not affecting the team enough. Like I think that they have to start focusing more so on the bot lane. I think that with Snowflower being one of the better players on the team, this might give them a better chance at winning. Like even with the pretty poor like ADCs, they didn't look that bad. Like the bot lane never looked horrible.
I think now technically they got an upgrade. You have BDD, Smeb, but Score and Umti are just. I'm gonna say Score's bad. Maybe that was like one of the worst.
Umti was great last year. He was
so bad.
He was great last year. I don't want to say he was bad because I think it was more.
So they have two very average junglers right now.
Yeah, I think they're both. I mean, again, they're both horrible this year. But again, I think that that's not reflective of what has been most of their career. Umti was great when he was on Jin Air. Umti was decent at the beginning of the. If you look at the Kespa Cups, he looked great.
The Kespa Cup is always such a weird.
It is, but he looked good in the Kespa Cup, and I was like, this might be a team that could compete, and they're not. They were not good.
The thing is that if Smeb is your issue, do you throw away the face of your league organization and just play Kingen? Because Kingen sucks too. So
I don't know what to do honestly, but I think that you keep Smeb and hopefully this takes them in the right direction. I think that's pretty much all you can do.
Maybe Smeb has his friend back. Maybe he's like, "Hey man, could we go out to dinner? Maybe I'll buy you dinner and I'll slip you the check under the table and stuff like that." No. All right. So he used to be nice. So that's pretty much it, all things considered. Unless you want to hear Mr. Rawls and Gilius are on a team.
Nice. Okay, so that's pretty much
Gilius got switched out. Gilius and getting switched out. That is just... You can't name a more iconic duo than that.
So I think that's pretty much it. We could probably keep this one small and concise because there's not too much news. We got to the kind of brunt of it. I don't think there's much more to say, right?
A lot of people are on Reddit trashing Yumi. Have you played the new champion?
Man, I have a 70% win rate on her right now. Got me into Diamond. I'm in Diamond 3.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people just said she's garbage.
No, I'm tearing her up. I have like 25 games on her. I'm tearing up with her. She's like Janna.
She's a support, right?
She's like Soraka, but she can't get caught out.
That's pretty much it. Oh, it's decent news. What did you feel about MSI for league breaking numbers?
I think that, again, it's reflective of the foreign countries, but I think the NA viewership is still dipping. I think that the EU scene is getting bigger. The Korean scene is obviously never going to get bigger because it's already gigantic there. The Chinese scene is gigantic too. So I think it's just reflective of how big the scene is right now.
Okay, yeah, most people after the Prey thing are like, do you think Genji... Because so you're going to have... SKT and Griffin are probably going to make Worlds, but then you have those other teams competing for it. Kingzone are definitely still...
I'm not going to consider Griffin going to make it until I see them play this year, because they looked horrible at the end of the year. They did not look like the top 3 team.
So that's pretty much it. Inside for Nerds, JTH and Nightwing signing out.
You're so inconsistent when we do this.
You never are in sync. Get it? In sync.
Signing out.